Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Getting ready for Pizza Feast. Want to do a little midweek update, and I think I got everything updated, ready to go. Cougar should be ready to go because it was prepped for Vegas. Mounted up my tires, going with slicks because it sounds like the track is grooving in, and that's what everyone's running. So, Cougar ready to go. Our RC10 fan, well, not our RC, our fan graphite isn't going to go as a backup car. Someone may want to run that, so I glued up a new set of tires for them. So I'm going to bring that along. And I got a transponder. All that's all ready to go, obviously. Four-wheel drive, I gotta get some 15K fluid. Should be here Thursday or Friday. I'll finish on my diffs. Justin came, picked up his 410. Finally sold our B7 and got rid of that thing. So that thing's off to a new home. Got a DX210 out to Joel. So that's gone because we are making room for some new projects. But one thing I wanted to talk about, because it was catching, I don't know how to say it other than it was kind of pissing me off because I felt like some people were giving us some advice that probably shouldn't have been. And what I'm getting at is what you see before you, the Yokomo 870C. There was a question asked saying, what do you actually need to get this, going? And my response was, all you need really is a top deck. Then some nice things to have, I think, are the Cosworks hinge pins. They take out a tremendous amount of slop. And some better bearings, some better flange bearings. Seem to be better, even though the Yokomo diff bearings are really good. And everyone else on there, and like I said, no offense to Rubik's Racing. Ruben's painted bodies for me. I bought parts from him. But everyone's like, oh, you got to get a whole chassis kit and blah, blah, blah. You don't. You don't. And I'm going to prove that this weekend, running at more at Pizza Feast. Now, granted, I have a lot of upgrades on my 870C? Yes. But are they necessary upgrades? I don't think so. I think the top deck is necessary. The Cosworks hinge pins and bearings for the hubs will take out a lot of slop. You don't need the racing, knuckles and stuff like that. I mean, that you don't need it. Is it cool? Yeah. If you want to spend money and trick it out, it's nice. Obviously, to run big bores, having a bigger shock tower, so we run the Exo shock towers. Could you get away with the stock shocks? Yeah, you could. You definitely could, especially since you can get some springs for those on there. So I don't know. Don't believe the hype. And like I said, I'm going to run mine this weekend. We got it all together. I got it synced to my Fly Sky. Got our tires mounted up, so those are all ready to go. Using Smoothie 3s, but I am using the blue compound on these guys. So you couldn't find any silver compound that's soft, but the blues are soft and made for clay as well. So I am running those on there. And what I'll get at is before people start upgrading their 870, just run the thing, put a top deck on it and run it. Obviously I have like the Racing battery holder. You don't need that. The stock one's fine. You can configure a stock card just like this. I choose to use an LCG pack on mine rather than a full size over on the side to help balance it out. Now, one thing that's maybe a little different than some people, I run a full size Savox servo. I have a full size Savox receiver with antenna. Boop. And then a G2 low profile hobby wing with my transponder on this side as well. Aluminum factory team servo horn that lines everything up. So I feel like, there's enough weight there that, buying a whole chassis kit, nothing against Exo and nothing against Ruben. I don't think it's needed, but I think a lot of people are buying the sauce and I don't get it. So we're going to run ours this weekend. I put 10K in the diffs. Diffs feel great. They're a little stouter, shall we say, but still spin pretty free actually on there. So I think we're in pretty good shape with everything on there. Like I said, I do like the Cosworks hinge pins on there. And yeah, this thing's looking pretty good running the JC Racing extended drive shafts on the front. Again, do you need them? No, it gives you a little extra track width. Probably helps it a little bit more stable on there, but is it needed? No, it's not needed. And I hope they're not needed because I don't have any spares. Ooh. Yeah, racing does make extended ones as well. And the Yokomo 91 works. It does work as well, but they're always sold out on AME. So I will have to get some backups here eventually on that end. But yeah, so set all my EPAs, steering, endpoints, brake to get it kind of a base setup. But I think we're good to go. And I am excited for Pizza Feast. I'm excited to run the Dogfighter again. Haven't ran it in a while. So it's going to be interesting to run it again. I think the Pizza Feast layout is, I think it's fairly good for a vintage car to be able to make it around there. Especially a 21.5 two-wheel buggy, because even the modern buggies can't clear the triple. So everyone's got a kind of double single. So again, I think that will bring the vintage buggies pretty close lap time wise to what the modern buggies are running in 21.5. And that's the only vintage official vintage class at Moore this weekend. And I don't care. I'm running 17.5 four-wheel drive with the Yokomo, and we will see how it compares to the other four-wheel drives. I know they can clear the triple, and I think the Dogfighter is going to be close. So new rear belt on the back. Cleaned up the diffs. When I grenaded the stock Yokomo belt, I didn't clean it out as well as I thought, so I went through, cleaned everything, cleaned the bearings, re-oiled them, filled the diffs with 10K, dropped them back in there, and I think this thing's ready to go. And I don't know if you can hear the excitement in my voice, but I'm pretty excited. And it's also the first race I'm going to run with, like, even though it's got a Yali Racing bell crank, I do have the Exo carbon bridge in there, so first race going to be using that as well. And it gets pretty close to the belt, but luckily it doesn't really hit or interfere with anything. So I think we'll be good on that side. And then Cougarites. Man, I was looking today, and LD3 shocks, you can get a complete big bore shock package for like $110. So if you want to see that on the Cougar, let me know in the comments down below. I think it might be worth doing a little bit of a big bore upgrade to that thing. And man, I'd love it if someone makes some hinge. Cosworks, if you're listening, make some hinge pins for the Cougar. Because I think that would be great. Because I would definitely buy them. And maybe, I don't know, I'll have to measure the Yokomo and see. I think they're a different diameter because I think the Cougar are, I don't think they're 3. Maybe they are. But I'll have to look at that. Maybe I can get, maybe some of the Yokomo ones will work on that as well. We'll see. But that's the plan. We're going to run the Cougar. We're going to run the Yokomo 870C. The fan graphite's going to be a backup unless Eric wants to run it. I got new tires mounted for him, so I don't know how he could resist running the fan graphite. And the Durango four-wheel drive will be ready to go. The only thing I got to do, obviously the lightweight diffs are built. I just got to do some, throw some diff fluid in there and switch them out, and I think we'll be good on that side. And I got plenty of spare parts. All that stuff's finally organized. Sounds like my brand new chassis and side guards coming from Canada are going to arrive this week as well. So I'm going to start building my Shelf Queen 410 and have my Runner 410. So that's great news. 210 went to Joel. My 210's looking good. I'm not bringing it this weekend. Same with the Losi 22. Even though that thing's awesome, it's going to be sitting on the sidelines for a little bit until the next race day, which probably won't be next year for me. I'll run Pizza Feast, and then December is a pretty busy month, obviously with end of year stuff with my business, and then the holidays with Thanksgiving, and then Christmas coming up, the kids being out from school. Probably going to be limited run time here until we hit the new year. And then I'm crossing my fingers. And the other reason for these two is I'm hoping to see Schumacher release like maybe the Cat 2000 two-wheel drive, so I could get a newer, cooler, updated two-wheel drive of the Schumacher platform. And then maybe Yokomo. You know, we have the 89, obviously 870C. We have the 91 works. You know, they came out with the 80 834 Dogfighter and the Wonder Dogfighter with the different rear shocks and updates and stuff. So I'm hoping we'll either see a 93 or 9. It'd be cool if they see a 97, maybe an MX4. I'm crossing my fingers to see something new from Yokomo. But I am excited to run the 870. Everything still works, dusted it off, all my fans work, motor sounds strong, belts are worn. Should be a fun car and a fun time at Moore this weekend. So I don't know if I'll have too many more videos. I think tomorrow and Friday there's not going to be much going on. I'm pretty much dialed in with everything I have. But then Saturday, heading to Moore all day. Pizza Feast opens at 9 o'clock, and we will be there till the end. And like I said, I two-wheel drive the vintage class. I think I have a decent shot of maybe finishing in the top 5 there. Four-wheel drive, it's going to be tough, especially since I'm running a vintage car against modern cars, but we're going to throw it down and see what can happen. So, like I said, that track, there's not super huge jumps, so I think a lot of that advantage goes away. Obviously, we have big bores and stuff, so I think we can get there as well. It's just a matter of if the car will hold together, and I think it will. I mean, I don't think anything will necessarily break on it. We do have plenty of spares for this thing, so I think we should be in good shape. But we'll run a little practice with it on Saturday morning. If doors open at 9, I think racing starts at 10. They usually give us, I think, an hour to set up. And guys, I think they run like 2-minute practice, so you go out there in groups, can run for 2 minutes, pull off, and switch them out that way. So hopefully, I'm not so worried about the Cougar. I would like to run the 870 around a little bit, just making sure everything's good to go with that. But that's the midweek update. We are getting some new stuff on the channel. I don't know what it is, but we've obviously gotten rid of a lot of stuff because we're not stacking up cars on our stacker over there anymore. And we just got one to get rid of, and all the modern stuff is out of here. So we'll move on to some different projects. I'm picking up a T3 this weekend from Scott. So we are going to rehab Scott's T3 and get that platform ready. And then I'll have something else. I don't know what it is at the moment, but I'm going to be looking around pretty hard. Been looking through eBay and I have a couple ideas of what I want, but it's a matter if it comes up. But until then, Yokomo guys, get ready. The 870C is going to make it. Don't buy in all the hype that you need a $200 or $300 chassis kit to get your Yokomo to work. You don't. Put a top deck on it so the belts keep tight, and that's all you need. Need. Now there's some other nice upgrades. Like I said, the Cosworks hinge pins, some of the bearings. I think the steering upgrade is maybe worth it, no matter what company you use on there. And yeah, but I am psyched. And also, I saw this, I didn't see this. Chop your bumper down and move it back. So you can see we moved it back a good like 8 millimeters to close the gap. So you don't dig in so much with the big scoop. Cut your bumper. Run a LCG pack and send it. That's my advice. Like I said, there's some niceties, but I definitely think you can get by without some of those. And I've raced mine enough that, not that I'm an expert or anything, but some of those things might be nice, but I don't think ultimately it's going to buy you that much lap time. Practice, an upper deck, and some nice little things will definitely get you further than I think a 200 plus chassis kit, which I just don't think the performance is there. And like I said, Rubik's makes nice stuff. I have a Neo Vintage chassis on my Kinwald that I think is great, but I paid a lot for to get that thing from overseas from Michael Vollmer, but it's crafted goodness on that end. So, but run the stock kit and upgrade from there. Don't always buy into the hype. A lot of these modifications are cheap. They're easy. They're cost effective to get those things and get them in there. But the chassis kit is probably the last thing I would buy, to be honest with you. But maybe I'll eat my words. Maybe I won't. We'll see this weekend at Pizza Feast and how well it rolls. But until then, like, comment, subscribe right down in there. And we'll see you on the next one.